morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It is 5:30 Monday morning. We are headed in to start merging hay. So Saturday night, I ended up merging around 120 acres of that hay that you guys saw us mowing in the last video. Just trying to get any moisture trapped into that windrow because we didn't end up chopping anything yesterday. So knowing that, Saturday we went out and we merged just to try to keep that moisture kind of out of the sun and held in there. But having said that, we are going to have to really fly today, I think, to stay ahead of this hay. Yesterday ended up being a much better drying day than it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like 73 with overcast, and it ended up being 83 and sun. So we are going to get right after today. The good news is we're well ahead of the chopper. Generally, that's our biggest issue when we're chopping hay, is the chopper is literally 1-2 rows behind me in the merger. But given that I've got 120 acres ahead of them, we should be gold. Also, it's such a heavy crop, it's going to take them a little longer to get through it. So hopefully that chopper runs great today. I've got all the spare parts with me for the merger, I believe. So if something were to happen to the merger, I can hopefully get it fixed quickly. If not, well, hopefully I can get it fixed before he catches up to me with all that stuff that I did Saturday night. This stuff should be beautiful, beautiful, high quality stuff. Super heavy crop. Like I said, just as long as we can keep ahead of that moisture and not let it get too dry, we should be good to go. I think we run around 500 total acres, so I don't know if I'll be able to get the rest of it done today. Being that we're starting nice and early with the dew on, if I have a good day, I think we can get it done. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. Once I get done merging, the plan is hopefully I can hop in the manure truck and start field spreading manure on our older seedings behind the guys as they're picking it up. Like to get the lagoons totally empty right around this time of year. I've got all the wheat ground that we can still spread on, but we usually we like to get manure on our alfalfa within 3 days after taking the hay off of it. So that should be the ground that's priority over the wheat ground. Full moon. There's a full moon out right now. That's kind of cool. So yeah, that's the plan. Thanks for following along. If you haven't yet done so, hit the subscribe button, guys. We're trying to grow this channel and get the content out to other people. So follow along and we'll see how this day goes. Now, guys, we're going to start down here in the swamp. These are our big fields. That was sarcasm. This field right here is 2.2 acres. And across the road in this little indent there's a field that's less than an acre. Why do we screw around with these little fields? Well, I'll tell you. Per acre, these two fields probably produce more crop than any other field we've got. This is a swamp right here. There's a creek that runs right here. So this ground right here, there's not a rock in it. It's the most fertile stuff that we've got. And it doesn't matter if it's a dry year, a wet year, anything. These two little fields here produce, as you can see here. So I don't know what the smallest field anybody else runs is, but yeah, we've got 2.2 and I want to say 0.6 acre field, which isn't a big deal, except for when you try to get into it with this merger and make a half decent row. The sprayer also has fun in there, but like I said, per acre, these two little fields really do the job nicely. See, there we got standing water there, but sun's coming up. So just for reference, the merging tractor is an 8330. We've got a pair of these 8330s. We really love these 30 series straight tractors. And I pull a 334 Oxbow. It's a good machine, real good machine. We buy them out of Batavia, so parts are a half hour away. but we haven't had to do a ton. Just an occasional time bar. I went through and put all new roller cam bearings in this thing last year. And this winter my plan is there's a rubber plate between each head. It's like a rubber coupler that needs to be replaced. So that'll be a project for the winter. There's that field over there. You can see it's pretty much down and back. Alright, well, we're down here on the next farm. This is our blank farm, we call it. For whatever reason, this stuff is a little bit thinner. Still a decent crop, but it's definitely thinner than the other fields. So what I'm going to do here, being that I've got so much ahead of the chopper and I've got some time, I'm actually going to triple these rows up. So I'm going to put 3 merger passes onto one to try to save that chopper a little bit of time. When he gets here, it'll be less passes up and down the field. So what I generally do is I flip them over, I change the directions on my head, and I shoot them the other way, and then I'll come back down putting on top of that row. So I don't know how good of a job I did describing that here, but I can show you guys when we get rolling here. These rows to my left are just some short rows. So those of you wondering why I cut down the middle, the field is a big angle back there, so I cut the short rows off just so I can make nice straight rows on the long ones. Like I said, still a decent crop. I'm not sure why it's so much thinner than everything else. It is a 3rd year seeding, but generally this ground does pretty well down here. There is a bunch of grass up here ahead of me. This all used to be swampy woods that was just brush and trees, and we cleared that out probably 5-6 years ago. You can see here where it dips off in front of me, but I got a tree stand over here. It used to be really, really good hunting in there. Still is, but not as good as when this was all just nice bedded down area. So you see, I'll flip the directions on my head, and we're just gonna come right back down this row, shooting it the other way, like such. And when I get to the other end, I will keep my head shooting to the left, and I'll shoot it back onto the row that I'm making now. That'll be a plenty big enough row by then. Like I said, that just speeds up the chopper. We'd rather chop a little slower with a big row than chop faster with a small row. Generally, I'm not able to do this because, like I said, generally the chopper is right on my tail. And for me to make 3 passes to his 1, he's waiting for me every row. But being that I've got such a big head start, we're gonna go ahead and triple these up here. So yeah, that's the row that it made with 2 passes. Now we're coming back down through, and we're just setting it right on the side of that row there. That's how I like to merge. A lot of guys set it right on top of that row, but I think it makes a much smoother row when you set it right beside, not too far away. I know I've seen a lot of people, they'll have like a 6-7 foot gap between the 2 rows. We've got the big chopper head, but still there's no point in, constantly having to be as wide as you can. Just set it right on top of that row like that, and that'll make about as smooth of a row as you can get. So yeah, like I say, that'll be a good size row. That'll keep the chopper fed. He can just keep it working. Nice smooth stream of feed versus having to jog along at 6-7 miles an hour. I generally like to merge in 13th, so 8.5 to 9 miles an hour is kind of where this merger seems to do the best job. If we had a second merger, I could probably pull it back a gear or so, but for now we're able to keep ahead for the most part with one. and they don't give these mergers away. I was talking to our mechanic the other day about Oxbow's new 40-foot merger and how much I'd really like one of those, someday, now that we've got a bigger chopper. And he was saying that they're north of $200,000 now for just for something to put the hay together. It seems wild. So for now, we're gonna just stick with this merger. It's a good machine. We did have one little incident with it the year we bought it that involved a well casing, but other than that, it's been a pretty foolproof machine. So you see now I got that cut row done. I'm gonna come over and hammer these short rows out real quick. This is why you always carry your gun on you. Go figure. The one time I don't, I had a coyote sitting right there. Little buggers. He doesn't care either. He's just sitting there looking at me. It'd be a chip shot. Oh well. Yeah, here's another little tiny piece. It's connected to that big field over there, but it's technically, according to our maps, it's got its own field number. Again, you're talking 1.1, 1.2 acres here. In this field, for whatever reason, the clover is always stupid heavy in here. And I understand its feed value, but clover is a pain in the butt to merge. The pickup teeth, it just doesn't do a great job. But what are you gonna do? Is he still over there? No, he's probably chilling just inside the trees. Ah, oh, that ticks me off. Well, guys, we're done with the little fields. We are into a field that is just over 100 acres now. Nice long rows in it. Got a couple of bad news items. Number one, on the radio, they are now calling for rain this afternoon. So that is less than ideal. The only way that could work in our favor is if the hay does get so dry that we can't chop it. If it starts coming up the chopper, maybe that moisture would be welcome, I guess. Rain's generally not welcome when you're doing hay, obviously, but right now the hay that I'm merging is on the money right now. The problem is the chopper's a couple hours behind me. I'm curious to see how the hay looks as I work into the stuff that was mowed yesterday. That stuff should be in a lot better shape than that first stuff that I mowed this morning. The second piece of bad news is it is 9:30 and I have already eaten my lunch. Yeah, so that's problematic. I suppose I could probably handle missing a meal or two, and I think that's what's going to end up happening. But I've still got a full cooler of drinks. But yeah, those sandwiches, they didn't make it very long today. So yeah, as you guys can see, it's a beautiful crop here. Stuff's heavier than heavy. We're just gonna double this row up. Like I said, I don't know what was going on in that last farm, why that was thinner. I don't know if there were aphids there that we didn't know about or what. Generally that farm does pretty well. That farm does have a fair amount of grass in it. Most of our stuff is pretty well straight alfalfa, but I think it was a wetter year when we drilled that farm, so some of the alfalfa didn't come on and the volunteer grass kind of came in, which also made it dry down faster on top of being thinner. So not ideal, but it is what it is. Like I said, I just don't know why it was so thin. I mean, you can see this stuff here. This is a hellacious crop we got going on here. Should fill the bunk crate up for sure. But yeah, so rain coming. Don't know where that came from. My phone said there was no rain until Wednesday. And as of last night, it was still that way. There was no rain until Wednesday. So that is less than ideal. Just making my turn here. And we'll head back the other way. I don't think these rows are a mile long, but these longer rows are going to be close to it. We do have a couple fields where the rows are over a mile long. It's over 20 minutes a row. A lot of people get bored with them. I will take these long rows, big fields, flat land over, fields with character. I'm not a big character field guy. I prefer just long rows, straight rows, getting the acres done. That's my preference. But you can see it is, we are kicking up some leaves. I play with my RPMs as we go through the day to try to get those leaves to stay down. Right now we're setting at 1,650 RPM and 9 miles an hour. So you're gonna lose some leaves. Unfortunately, the Oxbow does not have a leaf guard like some of the mergers do. I believe it's the Coon merger and the Rider mergers. Some of these mergers are actually coming with the overhead screen to try to catch these leaves right there that are popping up. I thought about attempting to build something. I don't know how that would go when I fold it up, though. It would have to be a full folding unit. I've never looked too in depth at those Coon mergers that have the screens, but I do think it's a good idea just to keep those leaves in the windrow. Because even, like I say, this stuff is probably at 40% right now, which is a skosh drier than we like, but we shouldn't be losing leaves. So that's the only thing I'm not a fan of this merger, is the way that it kicks those off. It's also windy. That's part of the problem here. You can see clear blue skies, wind. I don't actually know how warm it is outside. I know it's 68 in the tractor. It was 60 degrees when I came in this morning, but obviously it's been 3-4 hours since then. I think it was supposed to get just shy of 80 today, so I think the guys are moving right along with the chopper. I know they've got that first 74-acre piece picked up, and they're on the second one. That second piece was a heavy bastard, so they might be there for a minute. So, I mean, yeah. I kind of wish they could swing up here quick and just take the headland off of this field. It does make swinging around on the ends a little quicker if you don't have to pick the heads up. When you got the outside row there, you don't have quite enough room to turn around when you're making your left-hand turn. When you're making your right-hand turn like we just did at that end of the field, you can rip it right around. Just do a real tight turn. I just shut the heads off so it doesn't ball up that end at first. Because when he comes into that row with the chopper, you don't want a big wad, a big ball of alfalfa there to just slug the chopper. You want a nice smooth end. So I tried to do my best at not doing that. Boy, this is nice stuff though. This was really nice stuff. This was a new seeding last year. So this is its second year. It was good stuff last year. It's good stuff again this year. Hasn't gotten any manure, but like I said in the last video, we do put potash on everything after first cutting. And with the potash, we do about 20% urea. So it's 80% potash, 20% urea, and we put a stabilizer in there too to try to prevent stuff from dissolving, whatever it's called, in the heat. I just stopped at the farm to grab my sunglasses. Headed up to Court Road, so I've got 3 fields left. They're pretty big fields though, so a couple 100 acres left to go. Good news is I think we're gonna get it done today. At least the merging's gonna get done today. We're doing a walk around here just to quickly check. This skid plate here is getting mighty thin and starting to wear out up there in the top. Right there, you can see where it's notched out. I do have a few spares. I guess I could probably swap it out quick right now, but I think we're gonna let it ride. Worst case scenario, I'll only be 5 minutes from home and I can swing back home. And forgot my drink too. Yeah, so worst case scenario, I'm only gonna be 5 minutes from home and I could have either someone run me up a skid plate, or I could just bring it home and change it. But I don't think it's gonna be a problem. Where did I leave my drink? Ah, there you are. I put things in the weirdest, most stupid spots. So, yeah, we're gonna let that ride. I think we're good. Like I said, a couple hundred acres. And I am at least 3 to 4 hours ahead of the chopper. So if something were to happen, I've got a pretty good cushion to get that swapped out. So, yep, we're gonna go power through the rest of it here. I just ate a second lunch. I shouldn't eat a third lunch before supper, I don't think. But you never know, we'll see what the day goes. $1 hot dog day down at the truck stop. So that was the last thing I needed. But it really hit the spot. I only ate one. On $1 hot dog day to only eat one, that's really good. That's discipline, is what I would say. So, yeah, wish me luck here. We're gonna go power through the rest of this. This is kind of interesting here. I figured I would share. Now, obviously, we know that fertilizer is an incredible thing. But check this out. You can see these outside 3 rows. See how much thinner they are than everything else. How much lighter color, all of that. So this was the last field I spread potash on. And I was, maybe a ton short. So rather than driving all the way to town for that little tiny bit to make this one last pass, did kind of an inside experiment here. And yeah, the proof is right there. That's literally what it was. It was one more pass with the fertilizer spreader. And you can see how much darker and heavier it is right there in that 4th row in than these first 3. So obviously I can't tell you the exact return on investment, but I can tell you that there is in fact a return on investment. So it's a good thing that we did what we did. And yeah, unfortunate that I ran out with 1 pass left, but sorry guys, I wasn't about to go to town for, like I said, a skid steer bucket of fertilizer. So yeah, thought that was interesting. Corn's looking decent. This is probably one of our worst fields, actually. Down in there, you can't really see it, but there's, I don't know if it's a broken tile or what, but there's a couple of wet spots that really didn't come on good. Probably 80% of the field looks pretty good. Probably 10-foot tall, nice corn. But yeah, back there, those wet holes really took up a handful of acres of this field. So that's unfortunate, but that's part of farming. You don't have time to do everything exactly how you want to. In a perfect world, we could have got in there and figured out what the where the water was coming from and tried to get that fixed. But this spring was a tougher spring as far as time to get stuff planted, and the weather and the pop-up storms all the time. Yeah, it was a rough one. So getting it planted was top priority, and that's what we did. So yeah, anyways, this field here is, I think it's 40 some acres, but this is the one. This is our longest field from end to end. I think it's like 1.15, 1.2 miles. It's a hike from one end to the other. So, like I said earlier though, that's what I enjoy doing. I like the long rows. I gotta get GPS put on this tractor. We have it in our other 8330, which actually isn't being used right now. Well, okay, the tractor's being used to bale, but we're not using the GPS on it. The only thing I got to do to this tractor, I got to get the globe bracket mounted onto the top of the cab. Other than that, this tractor is good to go. If I just pull the globe and screen out of that tractor, then I can merge with it. So that might be a project for the winter, to try to get the bracket on this and get everything set up so it's just a quick swapping around of the equipment. Like I said, it'd be nice on these real long rows to have that up and running. Neighbors are hauling some manure out here to some ground they took some weed off of. That's organic ground over there. Round baled the straw. They're out there picking up bales too, and a nice Gembrook spreader. Getting some liquid spread. Alright guys, second to last field here. I didn't realize we saved the last field. They're actually almost done mowing it now, so they saved that just in case stuff got too dry. We'd have some green stuff to go on top. So looks like we're probably gonna hammer that in the morning. But second to last field here, just wanted to get out and see what we were looking like here. Definitely crispy on top. It's got color on the bottom. If I had to put a number on it, I'm thinking we're probably in the 45% dry matter range. So definitely dry, but what are you gonna do? There is a chance of rain tonight. I suppose we could chop it in the morning with the dew on it and then go hammer that last field that they're doing. So we're up here by our grain bins. We've got 4 10,000 bushel bins. There's a continuous dryer over in the shed there. This is where we store our grain corn. It's not enough to get us through the year, and they're actually mostly full right now just because of the price of corn being so low. We've just been buying corn this year. Figure we might as well hold on to this if we could buy it as cheap as we have been. If anyone's in the market for an old feed truck, she's a trusty old girl. she's been sitting up here for a long time. It's been undercover. This is the first year we actually had to pull it out because we ran out of room for straw. This spring when we bought some DT466, it's a real Augie 3575 with a brand new liner in it. Brakes need a little work. Scales do not work. Other than that, I could go fire it up right now and hit the switch and it would turn on. So always love farming up here on this hill though. You could see forever. I mean, you're clear to Buffalo Bills Stadium way out there, about an hour away. I mean, you can't see the stadium, but that hill over yonder, you head up over that hill and you're in East Aurora, which is where the Buffalo Bills play. So, well, we'll hop back in here and get her put back together. Here's a good view of the 8330. This one's a couple years newer than the other one that we have. 2,800 hours on this machine. So this is a pretty low hour tractor. I love this tractor. In my opinion, doesn't get much better than the 30 series. I know the new ones might have a touch more comfortable seat, and you know, I'm a big fan of the IVT transmission, but you can't beat not having DEF on a tractor, and obviously the 30 series do not. So this tractor mainly just merges. We will put it on our land roller to roll in the new seatings, and when we're spreading sand, it does get thrown on our box spreader quite a bit if we are in need of a tractor, which generally I'm trying to spread liquid at the same time as when we're spreading sand. So tractors with PTOs get a little scarce, and unfortunately she gets thrown on a box spreader, but it doesn't seem to hurt her that bad. So we are gonna hop in and get after it here. All right guys, so this is the last field for the day. That field that I was saying they just mowed, we are gonna save for tomorrow morning. And I'm kind of being a chicken right now. This stuff up here is so heavy. I've got my heads going in 2 different directions. I'm just gonna put four of these windrows into one rather than a down and back pass. It's just, I just don't think it's worth plugging that chopper right up. We run a 9700. I'm sure it would handle it, but they're really, really big rows. So I don't know. This field's really long and kind of narrow. So by doing this, I'm maybe adding one down and back to the whole thing. I just think it'd be better to play it safe than to just totally wad things up unnecessarily. So yeah, I've got two heads going one way, one the other, and I'm just working my way down and back that way, and it seems to be doing okay. As it is, I had to double up the outside row, and I mean, it's a really, really, really big row. And if for some reason something were to happen and they can't get the chopper up here tonight, and then it were to get rained on, I'd rather have a little smaller row than those just big monster things. Because if we were to have to flip them over, which I don't think we will, the chances of rain's really low. So even if we get rain, I wouldn't think that it would be a lot. Now the way this year's gone, who knows? But a little sprinkle would actually probably do this row, these last couple fields good. A downpour, worst case scenario, a downpour, I'd rather have a little smaller row to just come in and flip over again tomorrow. And again, we should be able to get up here tonight. I don't see why we wouldn't. But yeah, that's what we're up to. Also, apparently our baler is broke down again. Big problems, and they've only got like 5 acres left to bale. So I think what we are going to do is roll into that with the chopper as well, and just chop a few truckloads, chop straw and dump it in our commodity shed, which I actually like better than baling it and running it through our rotogrind anyways. So that kind of works out. Hopefully we can get a decent stockpile of chopped straw, and I won't have to do that job for a couple months. So yeah, I'm being a chicken. Go ahead, tell me it's okay. I am totally okay with the chopper guy not being ticked off at me when he wads the chopper completely up because some a-hole in the merger wanted to make a big fat roll with a giant, wad in there somewhere that he didn't see. Which, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, yes, I'm kind of being a bit of a chicken, but this is what we're going to do. Like I said, one down and back extra, not a big deal. So we'll just keep rolling here and see. Like I said, this should about do it for the merging today. Yeah, we might. I don't know if they want me to merge to straw or not now that we think about it. So it's only a few acres, but our combine head's only like 18 or 20 foot. So if we're gonna chop that, maybe I'll go merge that together as well. I don't know. We'll just play it by feel here, I guess. Guys, 6 o'clock. Merging's all done for the day. They're still gonna chop for a few more hours, so I figured I would come out and do a little bit of field spreading. That way, if someone needed to be relieved driving truck, I was free. But in the meantime, I'm still doing something useful here. I realized that wasn't the greatest footage, but the old 88 Eagle's not the most smooth riding, quiet machine to be driving. Yeah, we'll see if we can get some manure moved here while we're waiting. Every load out's another load out, so that's what we're gonna do to finish out the night, I think. But we'll see. Like I said, maybe someone will need to be relieved or something. So in the meantime, this is what we're up to. Does a real nice job right at 1400 RPM. Corn's looking good over there. That was planted after the spring triticale crop. Got a little washout here. By little, I mean pretty good sized washout. "74 acres here, so this will be a couple days worth of spread. Just putting it on around 5,000 to the acre. Not too fast, not too slow, not too thick. Being primarily alfalfa, I don't want to smother it. Well guys, they're just finishing up chopping that straw. It's about 7 o'clock tonight. You can see the clouds are starting to roll in. We're gonna get the straw chopped and call it a night. So there's 3 more fields for tomorrow. About 200 acres to do. I've got 1 more to merge, that one that was mowed today. I got the first 2 already done so we can chop them with the dew on in the morning. So that should wrap it up for today. I've just got to go through all of our close-up cows and make sure none of them are going to calve tonight. And if they are, I'm going to get them onto the bedded pack here. I can see one right now. Actually, I got to get on the bedded pack. So that's what I'm going to do to wrap up the night. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you got anything out of it, please like it and subscribe it. Share it out to your friends. For some reason, my camera just shut off. But to finish what I was saying, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys in the next video.